Hello and welcome to Gun Theory. Today we're taking a look at the Mk17 CQC in use by the Navy SEALs in Rainbow Six Siege. In real life, this gun would be called the SCAR-H CQC. We will be looking at three major categories to judge the realism score for this firearm. 1. Appearance. Does it look like the real thing? 2. Performance. How does it perform as compared to the real SCAR-H? And lastly, general circumstances. Does it make sense that the Navy SEALs would be using this rifle? Let's jump right into appearance. Overall, they did a great job with the appearance. We can see the standard SCAR features are present, such as the UGG boot stock, accessory rails, and that shorter 13-inch barrel that accompanies a CQC model. Our first complaint here is that the stock sights that come with a SCAR do look exactly like these, except without the green marks. So we'll definitely have to take a few points off here. The next is the description. It contradicts itself in saying that this rifle is an assault rifle chambered for 7.62 by 51mm NATO, or 308 for us Americans. The chambering, by definition, makes this not an assault rifle. It makes it a battle rifle. So we're gonna have to take a few points off here as well. Now, let's take a look at the performance. How is the recoil? Well, we can see it's a little sharper than what we would expect out of a rifle chambered for 5.56 or 5.45, so it does check out here. And also, the SCAR has a really unique recoil mitigation system that actually does reduce the recoil perceived by the shooter down to just a little bit more than what we might expect out of an AR-15. And we can see just a little bit of my own experience with this rifle. Alright, now for the damage. As with the previous video on the Desert Eagle, we've determined that these terrorists are most likely wearing something like level 3 body armor, possibly 3+. This means that our rounds are most likely not going to penetrate their armor because level 3 is rated to stop up to 308. Especially considering that our SCAR in this game has an incredibly short barrel for a rifle chambered in 308. We typically expect to see much longer barrels in these sorts of rifles. So with the Desert Eagle, we determined that it takes more than 1,600 foot-pounds of energy, but at most that 3,200 mark because it took 2 shots invariably to kill these terrorists. And since the 308 is not likely to be penetrating their armor, we're looking to accomplish that same thing as we did with the Desert Eagle, where we want to just transfer a whole lot of energy into their torsos very quickly to break their ribs, sternum, and generally just put their body into a state of shock. This will cause them to maybe not die immediately, but they will be incapacitated on the ground, which is good for us clearing the terrorists out. So 308 out of a 13-inch barrel, we can expect it to have something like 1,974 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. This means that using the Desert Eagle observations, we can expect at most 2 rounds from the SCAR to drop these enemies. This, however, is not what we see. With 2 rounds from the SCAR, we're hitting them with just short of 4,000 foot-pounds, which is substantially more than it took from the Desert Eagle at 3,200 foot-pounds. In effect, though, it typically takes 3 rounds to the torso to kill most of the terrorists, except for the skinnier-looking ones really close up, like point blank, you're touching them with the end of your barrel. So for most of them, we're putting something like 5,900 foot-pounds into them before they're incapacitated. That's a lot more than the Desert Eagle, and we absolutely should not be seeing this crazy damage fall off over like 10 meters. That's ridiculous. So that tells us that the SCAR is intentionally underpowered, probably to balance it into the assault rifle role. So we're definitely gonna have to take off some pretty big points for this one. Alright, now for general circumstances. Does it make sense that the Navy SEALs would be using the SCAR-H CQC? Well, it absolutely does. This specific model was adopted by the SEALs among a few other models of SCAR, so that checks out perfectly. So they did very well in the appearance and general circumstances categories, minus that description, but they fell short on the damage that this rifle deals. I think it has something to do with the fact that they think it's an assault rifle, so they're trying to turn it into essentially an M4. And for this reason, I'd give the Scar H CQC a realism score of 60%. The damage as well as damage drop-off need to be fixed. If Ubisoft rebalances these aspects, I think they could have something truly special here. But I hope you learned something. If you like this sort of content, like, subscribe, and leave me a comment down below telling me which gun you'd like to see covered next time. And possibly consider becoming a patron of this channel on Patreon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.